All right, this is our final segment this morning, talking with Josh Horn from Social Security. The number 737-7587 if you have a question. Several calls this morning coming in, different questions. We'll see if we can help. The next one up, Josh, is Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, how are you all this morning?
Good, Dan. It's good to hear from you. What can we do to help you?
Well, I have a few questions. Actually, I watch your program all the time, and I'm up here in Kentucky. I'm not down there in Tennessee.
Okay.
Josh is so informative. And Josh, I worked from 1968 to 2012. I didn't file for my retirement until last year. I was living in Indiana. I worked in Indiana, and then I wanted to come back home like a lot of people does. Okay, my Social Security up there, they were just the most fantastic people I could talk about. I have no problem with anyone there. But, sir, as soon as I moved here to Kentucky, they started taking, your organization, they started taking $135 from my check from Part A and Part B. And then I also had, under Obamacare, I had secondary insurance, Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Well, they sent me a letter and said, Daniel, we have to cancel you from your temporary, or whatever, my premium. And then they wanted to charge me $73 a month plus co-payments that I can't possibly live. Why does it vary so much from state to state?
Wow, I mean, that's a great question. I thought it's uniform. And if I'm him, you're thinking about moving back, huh?
Sir, I'm already moved back.
Okay.
But it's getting now till, and I haven't picked up the secondary insurance. I haven't did that because I come back here and I was comfortable when I did come back to Kentucky.
Sure.
But me changing residence, it's almost that I can't live here now. And I thought, oh my gosh. I lived in Indiana. I have no qualms or quarrels about Indiana or Social Security, but I don't know why it drastically changed so much.
And when did you move back?
State to state.
When did you move back again?
Last year.
Okay,
last year. Okay, Dan, let's see. That's
so there's a couple of different things I believe that's involved here. First of all, Medicare Part A, that's free. You actually don't pay anything for it. But Part B is where the $100 and some comes in that you pay every month. Now, sometimes the state will pay for your Part B premiums if you meet certain qualifications, and that's a state-run program. A lot of times it's called QMB or SLMB. That's the titles of the programs that they have. And different states have different criteria of whether they will pay for your Part B or not. I mean, they should be similar, but I don't know if you were just right at those thresholds or not. And I'm not real familiar with Indiana and Kentucky. I'm more familiar with Tennessee, obviously, but if you move from one state to another, sometimes that can have an effect on whether they will pay for your Part B premium. Now, the other thing is that your Part D, your prescription drug plan, there's all kinds of different plans, and depending on what state you live in, you may have different options as to which ones you can sign up for. And if you, Kentucky plans may be more expensive or different, or you may have signed up for a different one when you moved, or things along the, if you move from Blue Cross in Indiana to Blue Cross in Kentucky, there may have been a change. And so when you talk about the 73 or 70 something, that to me sounds like your prescription drug plan. And again, if the state was no longer paying for it, because it sounds like they paid for it in Indiana, and then you moved to Kentucky and they weren't able to pay for it anymore, all of a sudden you're not only having to pay for your Part B program, but your Part D prescription drug plan. So I would definitely contact the state of Kentucky to see about the Medicare, I think they call it the Medicare Savings Program or the QMB program, to where they'll pay for your Medicare, and see if you can try to sign back up for that. They may have accidentally dropped you, I don't know, but if you call and reapply for those programs, see if the state will start paying for it. Then after that, you might want to take a look and see if during open enrollment, if you want to change your prescription drug plan to something different.
Okay, but it's also possible that some states don't offer that, right?
Well, I think all states have some form of it. But again, if he moves states, there's a possibility that they just didn't pick him up.
They didn't pick him up, and he just needs to get back on it. Okay, that's good, because otherwise, by and large, when it comes to Social Security, it's a federal program, and so regardless of the state you live in, at least at the federal level, it's all the same.
Right.
All the states are treated the same, but individual states can have little supplements like that.
Supplements and programs, yep.
All right, yeah, good that you caught that, Dan. Make sure you check it out, and thanks for calling. Let's go next to Brian. Hi, Brian. Hey, Brian. Hello, Brian. All right, we'll come back to Brian. Perhaps we may have lost him. We'll go to James. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Hey, how can we help you, big guy?
Well, sir, I got a couple questions. First off, I draw Railroad Retirement Board benefits. Instead of Social Security.
Uh-huh.
And my wife is deceased, but she paid in Social Security benefits. And I was wanting to see if I possibly draw her disability check.
So she passed away. How old are you?
I'm 64.
Okay, so yeah, survivor benefits may be a possibility. You need to talk to the retirement board first, and they will tell you whether you need to talk to Social Security or not. Railroad Board is one of those, and if you've been drawing it, you probably know railroad benefits is one of those kind of an odd situation when it comes to Social Security. Most of the time, Railroad Board has jurisdiction over all your benefits. Occasionally, especially with survivor benefits, sometimes they'll say, you know what, in this particular situation, Social Security actually has jurisdiction and you need to apply for them. But I would start with Railroad Board, and if they say to go to Social Security, just give us a call and set up an appointment and we can get that taken care of for you.
Okay. One more question, sir. Now, if I decide to go back to work or just want to work part-time or something, do I have to pay in, or do I have to have my employer take out Social Security? Because I feel like I'll never grow it. I'll never grow it.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and the answer is yes. It's kind of a separate, whether you're drawing benefits or not, it's really kind of a separate rule and law as far as paying in the benefits. And so if you go back to work for, you're pretty much going to need to pay in Social Security taxes.
Right, yeah, even when you take your full retirement, if you continue to work, as a lot of people do, you will pay that. And you always point the caveat, not that you will, because maybe if you are working, you're not working as much as you once did, but if you earn more than maybe you did in one of your prior years that are counted, you could actually see an increase in your Social Security benefit.
That's right, yeah.
Over time, because you say you take from the top 35 years of earnings.
Indexed years, so yeah, so they bring them all up to today's standards. So if, when you were 17 years old, you probably weren't making very much money, and if you go back to work, you may drop out one of those low years. Yeah,
but also unlike SSI and disability and all of that, once you take full retirement, there's no limit on how much you can earn, and it will not affect your Social Security benefit.
You can continue to draw your full benefits, if there's...
Yeah, it's not a punishment for earning too much like you do sometimes on others, right? And if anything, if you're working after you're getting full Social Security, the only thing that can happen is your Social Security benefit go up. It can't go down. All right, see, I learned that from you. Let's go to Ronaldo. Hi, Ronaldo.
Hi.
Hey, how can we help you?
I got two small questions, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, one of them is I'm retired and I get a small little pension, and my check comes in the middle of the month. So every couple of months, my check comes in 5-6 weeks. You see what I'm saying? And people on disability, so-called disability, I call it a lazy check. They get it on the first. They don't have, I have medicines I have to pay.
Yeah.
I have bills I have to pay. They don't. And every month I go through the same garbage with my bills and my medicine. I never seem to get to that 30 day. I get to that 30 day, and all of a sudden this month's 5 weeks. And I can't never seem to get to that first base.
Okay, so
are you drawing SSI benefits?
No, I'm retirement.
Okay,
so you're drawing.
Well, I don't know what the 5 weeks, because your pension doesn't affect your retirement benefits.
No, my pension comes in on the first.
Okay.
It's a small little check. I use that as my rent check.
Okay, so you get that, and then you get your Social Security check when?
In the middle of the month.
Okay, and just so I'm clear then, so the problem comes up, I don't get what you meant by 5 or 6 weeks. I didn't get that.
Every 2-3 months. I get it on the second week of the month.
Okay.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So next month, it's on the 16th.
Okay.
So the next month after that, it might be on the 8th. The next month after that, it might be on, you see what I'm saying?
It moves around. Okay. Okay.
And then, it gets to be 5. I know it's been 5.5. It's coming up 5.5 weeks.
Yeah, so it's kind of tough whenever it's moving around like that.
Yeah, right. It moves around, and I get it on the second week of the month.
Yeah, so
that second week of the month might be 5 weeks into it.
Yeah, I can explain it. I can't really offer you any.
It's hard for him to plan when he doesn't know when it's coming in.
It used to be years ago where all the Social Security checks came on the 3rd of the month, all of them. And what happened was grocery stores and banks and everywhere else was just overwhelmed because there's a significant population that all got their checks on the same day and went into. And so the decision was made to balance out the whatever you call it, economy or whatever else, that they were going to balance it out throughout the month by putting on the different Wednesdays of the month, second, third, and fourth Wednesdays of the month. And so, I mean, that's kind of how they went about it. So it's just an explanation. It's not really offering any help.
Yeah, it doesn't really solve his situation. But I didn't know it was that moving around that much. I'm not sure why we haven't heard that type of complaint from others. I wonder what's unique about his situation.
I've had some people call before that just say, I get mine on the 4th Wednesday of the month. I want it on the 2nd Wednesday of the month. And it's like, well, I mean, I can't. We don't have the authority to change that. It's all based on when your birthday is in the month. And so, but yeah, I mean, it moves around some. And I know like me, I'm a little bit type A, so I'd probably, I'd want it on the same day every month so I can go on my
like
stuff.
I said, it's easier to plan. And this poor guy, has to deal with it, not knowing for sure when it's coming. And then as he says, he has these bills he has to pay, buy his medicines. I guess it's something you have to work around. I don't know, maybe after a while you learn it, but that's just the way it's set up. You don't have authority to change that. It's at the administration how they set that. All right, just remind folks again, go online. That's where all the information is if you need it. I mean, you can call, but I mean, set up your own Social Security page. Yeah. It's simple, and you can look over that, and even if you're not looking to draw now, I get a kick out of going on there and looking at how much I was making when I first started in this business, and I wonder, wow, I was making that? How did I live on it? Not that I'm making a bundle now, but boy, your first jobs, you forget how, and they were taxing those back then. I was like, I should have been tax-free back then, shoot. All right, Josh, listen, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
As always, it is a pleasure. We'll see you again in a month. How about that?
Sounds good.
And folks, we'll be right back with the programming note about tomorrow right after this.